They're the pride of the entire region, olive trees, as far as the eye can see. Usually by spring, everything here would be silvery green. But this year, here in southern Apulia, in the heel of Italy, the trees look dead and gray. It's a heart-wrenching sight for Antonio and Gennaro de Lorenzis. The brothers produce olive oil for a living, but their trees are diseased. They've dried out from the core outwards.
The trunk is already dead, but the roots are still alive. That's where these new shoots have come from. They're growing around the tree like undergrowth. But the disease will also affect them.
This is the bacterium that's believed to be responsible, Xylella fastidiosa. It penetrates the tree and blocks its cells. Water and nutrients can no longer reach the branches and leaves. The bacterium originated in Costa Rica 20 years ago. In California, it almost wiped out an entire wine-producing region. Now it seems to have found equally attractive conditions here in southern Italy. The farmers don't have any antidote. In desperation, they're radically cutting back the trees.
Our heart is dying. Our culture, our future is at stake.
A tree like this can produce 300 kilograms of olives when it's healthy. That's 500 euros a year for 50 kilos of olive oil.
The disease is causing huge financial losses. If you travel toward Gallipoli in southern Apulia, you can get an idea of the scale of the epidemic.
For kilometers on end, nothing but dead olive trees.
The damage caused by the blight is irreparable. Olive trees grow very slowly.
It can take 10 to 15 years before a tree bears fruit. But if it becomes diseased again, then the economic impact is twice as big.
The farmers know that soon the region around Gallipoli will no longer produce any olive oil. In the entire province, 1 million trees are affected. And the disease continues to spread. 150 garden centers and nurseries have had to close. The bacterium has also affected fruit trees, oaks, acacias, gorse, and even rosemary.
Almost all of my plants were impounded, including those that aren't diseased. I may as well close. I'm not even allowed to grow any plants because of the bacterial infection.
The head of the garden center is at wit's end. All over the greenhouse, there are stacks of plants that can no longer be sold.
This olive bonsai tree would have sold for 60 euros. It's 12 years old. Written here, made in Salento. It's meant to be a souvenir from our province in southern Apulia.
No one wants souvenirs like that anymore. Or the young fruit trees, or oleanders for that matter. Everyone is afraid of the bacteria that spreads like wildfire via a tiny insect.
The bacterium needs a vector, a carrier. It can't move from one plant to another on its own. Here in southern Italy, the meadow spittlebug is responsible. It sucks up the bacteria with the xylem and injects it into other plants.
Now Brussels has stepped in. The EU has ordered a 15-kilometer-wide cordon to be established, separating the infected south from the north of Apulia. Every single tree in this zone has to be closely monitored and chopped down if it becomes diseased. That's standard EU crisis management practice to deal with these kinds of infections. But some of these olive trees go back 1,000 years. There's even a campaign to have them included on the UNESCO World Heritage List.
In this safety cordon are millions of olive trees, which are centuries, even millennia old. They've already witnessed the invasion of the Huns, barbarians, and the Moors. And now they're going to fall victim to the bacterium?
Antonio and Gennaro's small business is typical for olive oil production in the region. Most of the companies are in family hands. They see little hope for the future.
Last year, we had work for 6 months. This year, we only have 1 month's work. Without olives, we won't have any work.
A small bacterium is putting the livelihood of an entire region in Italy at risk. Soon, these olive presses could be mothballed forever.